Yeah, we'll see. I just don't want to like have spiders.
This is science.
This is literally the exact seat I was in this morning, and I couldn't see that either. The fucking tree. Isn't you can study trees during class? It's true, I do.
Should we sit with Victoria between us?
Burger? Henry Burger! Henry Burger! Oh, he hears me. He hears me. Yes, Henry Burger! BFA! 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 BFA!
Rather than be blocked by the tree.
You're free to move.
Henry Berger! You're not a real senior! You're not even going to graduate next semester! You should. I didn't move, that was you.
Oh my god!
Shout out TD wherever you are. Love you guys. Okay. We are Same Time Tomorrow, a newly formed band on campus. And I was asked to write a song, and this is said song about graduating, so I hope you enjoy. Catch and release means injure and leave. This place hooked you like an antidote. And if we all leave now, how will I get to know what you believed in as a kid? You're double jointed, I know you have a pressure point out the mouth. Get scared, all the hurt comes flowing out. Said, dear King James, I'm scared. I don't want to speak in past tense about the way that I love my friends. Believe me, I know it's deceiving, but I swear it's relieving. There's beauty in believing. Believe me, it's not catch and releasing, it's learned and perceiving. There's beauty in believing. Sing a movie on the plane, the stranger next to you sings. Life's a shared experience. 8 hours to your home, Sierra Leone. Stared at your matching tattoo that you have with Eddie Q, and the lines they start to blend. Oh God, you missed the movie again. You told me in a dream it's clear how you feel your 23rd year. I flipped a penny that I didn't hear. This is me giving you a heads up. Believe me, I know it's deceiving, but I swear it's relieving. There's beauty in believing. Believe me, it's not catch and releasing, it's learned and perceiving. There's beauty in believing. Knee deep in belief, release me when my youth is a memory and it's airing in a courtyard in rod on guitar. Knee deep in belief, release me when my youth is a memory. It's a metro north, and we're dreaming of a better Yale. Believe me, when dawn turns to evening and your body is freezing, you get to believing.
Thank you for that beautiful song, Beauty in the Leaving. Welcome, everybody. Before we get started, may I ask the following students to come up to the seats in the front row. Xavier Blackwell-Lipkind of Davenport College. Matt Brandow of Benjamin Franklin College. Resti Fufunen of Trumbull College. James Hatch of Timothy Dwight College. Carter Sundown King of Pauli Murray College. Eliza Rose Kravitz of Morse College. Andrew Ian Milas of Grace Hopper College. Jocelyn Paz of Silliman College. Jordi Bertrand Ramirez of Trumbull College. Ariana Reichler of Trumbull College. Miley Somera of Pearson College. Earlier today at Baccalaureate, you heard me read from Konstantin Kavafi's poem Ithaca as a tribute to the long, remarkable journey you've been traveling and to the one you're about to start. But these past 4 years also remind me of some lines from one of my favorite bands, which may be better known to your parents or perhaps your grandparents, the Grateful Dead. Sometimes the light's all shining on me, other times I can barely see. Lately it occurs to me what a long, strange trip it's been. So I'd like to start things off with some shout outs to the seniors. Some of you took some time off in the past few years, so even though you're all graduating today, many of you started at different times. Some of you started in 2019. Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it for the class of 2023 plus one. Okay, terrific. And those of you who graduated in December, the class of 2023.5. And some of you had a semester off and have a semester still to go, so let's hear it for the class of 2024.5. And those of you who are walking with your original classmates but took some time off will be graduating. Let's hear it for the class of 24 plus 1. All right. And now the entire class of 2024. Congratulations. Excellent. Enjoy the day today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jad Batha.
I'm Olivia Zhang.
And I'm Hetty Tung. Welcome to Class Day 2024.
This year, I've had the honor of serving as the Director of Strategy and Communications for Yale College Class Day. This tradition dates back to the 19th century when the entire graduating class, then fewer than 100 students, would gather under the elms of Old Campus to share memories of their time at Yale. Today, our assembly is much larger, but the spirit of Class Day remains unchanged. It is a time to celebrate our collective growth, resilience, and the profound experiences that have molded us into the scholars and companions we are today. This year has been particularly transformative. It was not just about our academic achievements, but also about pivotal moments of reflection, activism, and protests that sparked meaningful and necessary conversations on this campus. We have demonstrated our strength and commitment to our values, proving that student voices are essential and must always be heard, despite numerous attempts to silence them. I am incredibly proud of my fellow students who have made their voices heard and stood up for what they believe in. Today, let us add another memorable chapter to our Yale story. one filled with cherished memories and reflections. This celebration is truly a testament to the support of many, from our faculty to our staff, to the diligent custodians and event coordinators, and to all my peers on the Class Day Committee. I am particularly grateful to Allison Coleman, our Class Day Committee advisor and Director of Special Projects. Allison, your unwavering guidance and dedication have been crucial to bringing this day to life. For that and so much more, we thank you. Lastly, I hope you all enjoy the rest of the ceremony, and may it be as inspiring as enriching as the journey that brought us here. Thank you.
This past year, I've had the honor of serving as Secretary of the Class Day Committee. I know I speak for the committee when I say we are so excited to present the 2024 Class Day ceremony to celebrate you all. This is a uniquely student-led culmination of our commencement weekend that aims to amplify our memories and collective experience as a class. Throughout this ceremony, you'll hear from my fellow members of the committee, as Olivia will introduce the Class Day speaker, Alex, Molly, and Edmund will introduce the traditions of Class Day, and Alana, Dea, and Rosie will close off with highlighted class memories in our class history video. Through this, we hope you will get a glimpse of our bright college years. And as you join us in commemorating the class of 2024, I hope you will also honor yourselves as the family, friends, and loved ones who have inspired and pushed us to become who we are today. Class Day is a celebration of all of us. Without further ado, we'll turn it over to Olivia to introduce our Class Day speaker.
Good afternoon. I'm Olivia, and I have the immense honor of introducing Dr. Vivek Murthy as our 2024 Class Day speaker. Dr. Murthy was born in England before him and his family immigrated to Canada and then to the United States when he was a young child. Growing up, he was exposed to a humanistic and holistic approach to healthcare, exemplified by his parents at their medical clinic in Miami. Before receiving his concurrent degrees in 2003 from the Yale School of Medicine and the Yale School of Management, he graduated with an A.B. in biochemical sciences from Harvard College. He conducted his residency at Brigham and Women's Hospital and was an attending physician and instructor in medicine at Harvard Medical School. Today, he is the Surgeon General of the United States. A role that he has held twice, spanning 3 different presidential administrations. As Surgeon General, Dr. Murthy has dedicated his life to fixing American health. Whether that means tackling addiction, or focusing on the opioid crisis, or creating more walkable communities, he is committed to transforming our country into a more compassionate one. He co-founded Visions Worldwide, an HIV/AIDS education program in India, and the Swasthya Community Health Partnership, where he worked to train women in South India to become community health workers and educators. He created Doctors for America to mobilize physicians and medical students to improve access to affordable care. To top it all off, he even partnered with Elmo in an effort to demystify vaccines for parents and children. Man, am I really grateful to be introducing him and not following him. In particular, though, he has dedicated his career to the crisis of loneliness. We are no strangers to this crisis. We are a class that has been tested in all forms of the word. We've been tested in our classes, tested for COVID. We were tested when our senior graduations and first-year formals were on Zoom, or tested bi-weekly with really long Q-tips. In fact, it is actually only appropriate that Dr. Murthy is here for a class of 2024 therapy session. In all seriousness, as we are perched on the edge of graduation, may we always remember that Yale is our place of togetherness. In Dr. Murthy's own words, Yale has taught us that together, we are meant to be a part of one another's lives, to lift one another up, to reach heights together greater than any of us could ever reach on our own. And so as we prepare for our own worlds after Yale, let us never forget how lucky we are to have been part of one another's togetherness. And with that, please join me in giving the warmest Yale welcome to Dr. Vivek Murthy.
Hello, Yaleys. You know, I just got to say, I appreciate you inviting me here despite the fact that I may have graduated from the wrong college. And I will tell you this, that at my college graduation, nobody had the incredible display of hats that all of you have today. But I did get a chance right before this to steal a hat from one of your fellow college graduates. It was a giant banana that's on stage here today, and he allowed me to put it on. So thank you so much for allowing me to fill that gap in my college experience. So appreciate it. I want to thank Olivia for that incredibly kind welcome. And my thanks also to President Salave, to the faculty and staff who are here today, to the family and friends, and everyone who is here to celebrate all of you, the class of 2024. You know, today is a particularly special day because 4 years ago, many of you didn't have a high school graduation. I know many of you also caught here to Yale and found that you had to take classes virtually and that you didn't have the opportunity to actually see each other the way that you thought you would. But despite facing these truly unprecedented circumstances, you persevered, you learned, you built meaningful relationships with one another. This togetherness that has come to define your class, it didn't just happen. You fought for it, you created it, and it is just one of the many reasons that we are so incredibly proud of you today. When I came to Yale, it was the fall of 1998. I was a medical student, and I was a shy and introverted young man who had gone through high school and college, never really quite feeling like I belonged. But over eggplant parm sandwiches at Yorkside, snowball fights right here on Old Campus, group study sessions in the Star Reading Room because our library was under construction at the med school, and just through so many late night conversations walking through this campus, I found my people. Curious, quirky, and fiercely kind people who inspired me and made me laugh. Yale blessed me with friends I loved and with mentors I treasured. And it was here at Yale that I finally found that elusive sense of belonging. But I will admit that there were some embarrassing moments too. Like the time I thought I was so clever for discovering this beautiful garden that was tucked behind a building on campus that nobody seemed to know about. Now, I studied there in the afternoons. I ate meals there under the canopy of trees. I even laid out a blanket and took long naps during the day. This was my personal haven. But it wasn't until a few months later that a faculty member informed me that my secret hideaway was actually the backyard of a private home. And even worse, that home belonged to none other than the president of Yale University. President Salve, I want you to, don't worry, that was before your time. It was President Levin's time, so you have nothing to worry about. But the single greatest gift that I would ever receive from Yale would come a few years later, when I unexpectedly crossed paths with a Yale College grad from Morse College. Right? I see you, Morse. And we met while working on advocacy efforts to make our healthcare system better for our patients. Her name was Alice Chen. And in 2015, we returned to this campus where I proposed to her next to the lipstick at Morse. And we celebrated right afterwards with our friends, and none other than Claire's with Lithuanian coffee cake. Alice is here today, right here in the front row, with our two children, Tejas and Shanti. She has been my rock and my compass all of these years, and I will always be grateful for her. Now, like many of you, my path to Yale was an unexpected one. My grandfather was a farmer in a poor village in India, where he grew rice, tamarind, and coconuts, barely scraping enough together to feed and clothe his 6 children. Against all odds, my father somehow found a way to study medicine, and despite having little money and few connections, he and my mother made their way to the United States. They opened up a primary care clinic in Miami, Florida, and it was there that they taught me, yes, Miami. I gotta tell you as an aside, whenever I tell people I'm from Miami, they always tell me, you don't look like you're from Miami. I don't know what that means, but it's a great place to grow up. But anyhow, my parents in Miami, Florida, in that beautiful clinic that they built, they taught me that medicine was about so much more than the diagnoses you make and the prescriptions that you write. They taught me that medicine was truly about building relationships and serving a community. Watching them is what inspired me to become a doctor. My parents left everything that they knew to make America their home, not because they believed that our country was perfect, but because they wanted their kids to grow up in a country where the ideal that they aspired to was that everyone should matter and that everyone should have access to opportunities. And despite all the challenges and heartbreaks that we have had as a nation, I stand before you fully aware that there are few countries in the world where the grandson of a poor farmer from India could be asked by the president to look out for the health of an entire nation. That is the power and promise of America. Now, I suspect many of you are looking at the future with a mix of excitement, uncertainty, and worry. I can tell you your parents are certainly looking at it that way. And that is absolutely understandable. The world is full of new opportunities, but it's also rapidly changing. And there's no shortage of challenges that we're facing, from future pandemics and the double-edged sword of artificial intelligence to the toll of climate change and heart-wrenching conflicts that continue to plague the world. None of us can predict the future, but I can tell you that there is one factor that will make all the difference between your fulfillment and unhappiness, that will protect you from burnout, enhance your health, and protect your humanity. It's not wealth or fame. It's not prestigious honors or positions of power. It's not even, please cover your ears, faculty, academic tenure. It turns out to be our relationships with one another. You know, one of the largest and longest standing one of the longest running studies of human behavior, which has been following a cohort and their descendants since 1938, has found that the single most important predictor of health and happiness is good relationships. And this has been confirmed by many studies. Yet for many people, such relationships are becoming more and more scarce. Last year, I issued a Surgeon General's advisory on our epidemic of loneliness and isolation to call attention to the fact that half of adults in America are living with loneliness, and the numbers are even higher among young people. Our social disconnection is now contributing to our increased risk for depression and anxiety, heart disease and dementia, and to an increase in mortality that's on par with smoking and obesity. Now, the truth is, many of us know this inherently. Chances are that we or people in our lives are struggling with loneliness. Today, I'd like to offer you 3 short stories that have taught me about what's at the core of building meaningful relationships. Stories that I hope you will keep close to your heart as you set out to build a connected life. The first story is about being present. When I was a medical student, just a few blocks away from here, my classmate's father had to undergo emergency surgery. Now, thankfully, he did okay. But as budding doctors, we had all kinds of questions. The first and foremost was, who was his favorite clinician? We were trying to figure out what we wanted to do. Was it the internal medicine doctor who was skillfully managing his multiple medical conditions? Was it the nurse who spent the most time with him? We were surprised to learn that it was actually his surgeon. The surgeon would come by at 6 a.m., wake him up from sleep, and spend no more than 5 minutes in the room. But it was what he did in those 5 minutes that made all the difference. He sat on the bed next to his patient. He held his hand. He looked into his eyes. He asked him how he was and listened deeply to the answer. He examined the surgical site with tender care. That 5 minutes felt like half an hour to my friend's father. It was his favorite time of the day. Yet today, we're so often distracted when we're with each other. Our attention is siphoned off by notifications, the news, our inbox, and just the sheer habit of checking our phones all the time. I've fallen prey to this as well, stealing a glance at my inbox when catching up with a friend, or checking my phone when I'm supposed to be spending precious time with my kids. We're all working on this. But sometimes we have to disconnect from technology to truly connect with people. So the next time you're catching up with a friend or having dinner with your family, put your devices away and give them your full attention. Remember that your presence has the power to stretch time, to make 5 minutes feel like half an hour, and to leave someone else feeling seen and valued. You know, in a world where so many people feel invisible, your presence can help others heal. The second story is about being real. Being real is about being open and honest with the people in our lives, even when it's risky. It's about having the courage to be vulnerable. In 2017, my life changed overnight when my first tenure as Surgeon General ended abruptly. I was suddenly separated from the work and the colleagues I loved, and I had no idea what to do. Unfortunately, I had also lost many of my ties to family and friends, the cumulative effect of many small moments of putting work ahead of the people I loved. Now I was ashamed to ask for support when I hadn't exactly been a supportive friend over the years. Even when I would see people, I wouldn't really tell them what was going on in my life. I didn't talk about the deep loneliness, the shame and self-doubt that kept me up at night, the fear that I no longer had any value to add to the world. One day, a friend recognized what was happening and said to me, "Vivek, you have friends, but you're not experiencing friendship. You need to tell people what's really going on." I knew she was right. So a few weeks later, I summoned the courage to talk to two friends, Sunny and Dave. It turns out they too were quietly struggling with feeling alone and lost. So we made a pact to video conference once a month and to talk about the issues that were deeply affecting us, our fears and dreams, our joys and our disappointments. We also began checking in regularly on a group text thread and doing spontaneous calls whenever one of us wanted to talk. We called ourselves a moai, drawing on an old Okinawan tradition where a small group makes an explicit commitment to have each other's backs. And over the next year, my moai changed my life. Being honest and open, it felt like I was able to breathe again. I felt lighter. I started to laugh again. I began to forgive myself and to look forward to the future. The moai helped me navigate critical decisions about family, health, and work. At one point, I was offered a prestigious job, but Sunny and Dave helped me realize that my insecurity was driving me to consider the offer, and not a sense of genuine excitement. Thanks to them, I said no. Had I not, I never would have been able to move to Miami and see my parents' delight in the company of my young children for 18 months. I never would have been able to embark on writing a book about a topic that really did excite me, social connection. I wouldn't have been able to say yes when then former Vice President Biden asked me to help him navigate a novel virus that was rapidly spreading around the world in March of 2020. an experience that was deeply meaningful and ultimately brought me back to serve as Surgeon General. Being real with Sonny and Dave helped me find my way out of the darkness. And because they were real with me about their lives, I came to understand from them an essential truth, that life is messy for all of us, without exception. We may walk around with masks and conceal our pain, but it's our moments of authentic sharing that draw us closer and allow us to heal. The third story is about the power of showing up. During the summer after sophomore year in college, my family and I made a terrible discovery. We learned that a man we had trusted for years as a close family friend was actually an international con artist. Yeah, you didn't see that coming, did you? Neither did we. But when he abruptly fled the country that summer, he did so with our entire life savings. We felt betrayed, angry, but also deeply ashamed. Like, how could we let this happen to us? To make matters worse, we received word that the medical office where my parents cared for so many patients over the years with devotion, the office where I found my original inspiration to go into medicine, that had been taken too, and we were about to be evicted from our own clinic. We drove to the office as fast as we could to gather our records and belongings, the whole way fighting back tears. When we got to the office, we were stunned to find a small group of family friends waiting for us at the door with boxes and tape. They heard what was happening and they wanted to help. For the next hour, we sat side by side and packed up a lifetime of memories. There was no judgment from them, no scorn, no awkward questions. There was only a resolve on their faces, which said, "We've got you." I will never forget that. In the months that followed, our friends saw us through some of the darkest moments of our life. They didn't wait for an invitation. They showed up. They listened. They helped. Most of all, they just reminded us that we weren't alone. At a time when it felt like our souls had a tear in it, they patched us up with their acts of love. That is the power of showing up. Be present. Be real. Show up. These are the three keys to nurturing the relationships that will sustain you for the rest of your life. My son and daughter, who are 7 and 6, they remind me that we know these lessons from the earliest days of life. If you watch small children carefully, they focus on what's in front of them. They don't try to be someone they're not. And their instincts are to show up with empathy and care. I was reminded of this recently when I was at the dining table and my daughter playfully tossed a toy toward me. I lunged for it instinctively and immediately felt excruciating pain lance through my shoulder. Dropping to my knees with my eyes squeezed shut, I waited for the pain to subside. And that's when I felt a small hand rest on my shoulder and a small head lean against mine. I opened my eyes, and it was my son. No one taught him how to show up and care. He was born knowing how to, just as we all are. Our instincts might be buried under layers of worry. I will say on that point, for all you may read and see in the papers and on social media, never believe that our truest instincts are to be cruel and mean to each other. We may behave that way. We may find that our true instincts are buried under layers of worry or cynicism or fear. But that instinct to care for and show up for one another, that is still there if we are willing to reach for it. I want to leave you today with a practice that I turn to during those difficult moments that inevitably surface in all of our lives when you feel self-doubt and loneliness. I want you to hold up your right hand. I want you to place it over your heart. I want you to close your eyes. think about the people in your life who have supported you on your journey to this moment. Your dear family, your close friends, your treasured mentors, the people who have been with you to celebrate your moments of joy, who have showed up during times of disappointment and pain, the people who stood by you even when you lost faith in yourself and who reminded you of who you are. Feel their love flowing through you, strengthening you, guiding you, and filling you with peace. Know that you are deserving of this love. And know that love is always there for you, whether they are with you or not, because it resides in your heart. Now open your eyes. What you felt in those brief moments was the power of love. Love is the world's oldest medicine. It is what I wish for you more than anything else in the world. Your ability to give and receive love is your greatest gift and your greatest power. It is what will sustain you on every step of the journey ahead. I wish all of you a lifetime of happiness, fulfillment, and joy. Congratulations, class of 2024. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
That is a tough act to follow. Hi, I'm Molly Fallick.
I'm Alex Ori.
And I'm Edmund Jun.
Like Jad, Hetty, and Olivia, we are members of the class of 2024 Class Day Committee, and we are here to share some background on our traditions, some that are centuries old, others that are unique to our class. While you are all, of course, familiar with the tradition of wearing custom hats, we are here to share some other Class Day traditions that you may not be familiar with. As we gather to celebrate the class of 2024, you will hear from a collection of students and faculty members to speak on our experience, confer class prizes, and commemorate our time at Yale. Class Day is an evolving ceremony curated by and for seniors. While in the distant past, Class Day was an opportunity for seniors to give academic remarks, today, the class of 2024 will share their journey through a series of brief, interspersed reflections that range from the heartfelt, the harmonious. In addition to these speeches, we have revived the tradition of the Ivy Ode, breathing new life into a cherished ceremony. Historically, the Ivy Ode symbolized the connection between the growth of the ivy vines and the flourishing of the graduating class. Over time, these traditions have evolved, with the ode often being selected from original lyrics or spoken word poems written by seniors. This year, we were graced with a unique musical interpretation by the talented Kat Tucksher, whose rendition provided fresh vibrancy to an old fan favorite.
At the outset of the ceremony, members of the class of 2024 will receive a gift bag. In the bag is a special 2024 themed notebook featuring artwork by her classmate Alana Liu. In addition, you will find special Yale white handkerchiefs. By tradition, they are to be waved while singing the last line of Bright College Years, Yale's unofficial alma mater. We also commemorate our shared experience with the Class Ivy, a tradition leading back to 1852 when the first vine was placed near what is now Dwight Memorial Chapel. In the early years, graduating seniors sang the Ivy Ode as each member of the class scattered a handful of earth around the roots of the planted sprig. Near our class ivy, the numbers 2024 will be engraved on Old Campus. Graduates, you will also find a white clay pipe in your gift bags. Legend has it that in the 19th century, members of the graduating class would gather on Old Campus to sit in a circle and smoke clay pipes. Honoring that history, the church warden pipe has linked Yale's graduates over more than 150 years. Today, in place of the tobacco in generations past, the pipe is accompanied by bubbles for blowing.
Lastly, each graduate will receive the Class of 2024 anthology. Traditionally, the anthology is a collection of quotes, writings, and designs from selected members of the graduating class. This year's edition attempts to adequately capture what one might call the Yale experience. As this class knows more than anyone, such a term proves difficult to define. Being in the class of 2024 has meant to know many Yales. We've experienced this school in childhood bedrooms, in quarantine housing, and ultimately back at a lively campus. This year's anthology is split into seasons to reflect that our time at Yale is in no way been static, but rather filled with moments of development, transition, and rebirth. As we've grown as students, we too have felt this institution evolve and flourish with us. For many of us, beginning college meant asking the question, when a global pandemic requires Yale to drastically change, what remains the same? This anthology tries to address the infinite gradations of Yale that we've been lucky to know, but perhaps most importantly, it also attempts to describe what has remained utterly intact throughout our 4 years, the things that have always stayed the same. Pieces talk about moments of friendship, feelings of belonging, and the acute togetherness that lies at Yale's unshakable core. The pieces in this year's anthology convey a few truths. That first, not everything was perfect, but everything was uniquely and totally ours. And ultimately, the writers show us that one should take solace in knowing that the best parts of Yale are not bound to this campus. In fact, they survived a pandemic and thus will most definitely survive adulthood. The anthology will be in your gift bag, and we encourage you to read it when you want to be reminded of this. Thank you.
Miley Samara and Matt Brandow, will you please come to the stage? The Nellie P. Elliott Award honors the senior woman whose excellence on the field of play and in life at Yale best represents the highest ideals of sportsmanship and Yale tradition. This year, the prize is awarded to Miley Samara of Pearson College. Miley is the team captain of the three-time Ivy League championship volleyball team, which won the Ivy League tournament this year for the second year in a row. She was the 2023 Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year and is second all-time at Yale in number of aces served to opponents who watched the balls whiz by, unable to return them. And Miley is graduating with distinction in her architecture major. In recognition of her record as a fearless opponent, a consummate leader, a fine student, and a selfless example of Yale College is proud to award the Nellie Elliott Award to Miley Samara. The William Neely Mallory Award honors the senior man whose excellence of the field of play and in his life at Yale best represents the highest ideals of sportsmanship and Yale tradition. This year, the prize is awarded to Matt Brandow of Benjamin Franklin College. Matt Brandow is a 3-time NCAA tournament participant, a 3-time All-American, the 2023 New England Player of the Year, the all-time leading scorer in Yale men's lacrosse, and the all-time leading scorer in the Ivy League history, and the 2024 Ivy League Player of the Year. For his truly extraordinary athletic accomplishments and for the qualities that make him a quintessential teammate and the epitome of the scholar-athlete ideal, Yale College takes pride in honoring him with the William Neely Mallory Award.
President Salve, Dean Lewis, Handsome Dan. Lend us your ears. We come to bury the class of 2024, not to praise it.
We gather today to mourn the passing of our time at Yale. Parents, we know this is a loss for you, too. You can no longer brag that you have a child at Yale. You have to delete your Facebook now.
Some people will try to tell you that life begins after college, but we've seen the real world. We did a 5-week internship at our dad's company. And we're here to tell you there is no life after Yale.
We have been tasked with delivering the eulogy for the class of 2024. However, we failed Shelley Kagan's death class, so we aren't sure what to say about that topic. But in times of great need, we rely on what unites us all.
Taking English 114. So join us as we remember our bright college years as told by the rules of English 114.
Rule number 1, start with a hook. Something that grabs the reader's attention and gets their hearts racing.
Fire! Just kidding.
Rule number 2, use a sentence to orient the reader and tell them where they are. We are at Old Campus.
For reference, we are near the Classics Library and the English department.
And for those of you with paying jobs next year, we are 1 block away from the Sigma Nu fraternity.
Rule number 3, establish the speaker's voice.
My name is Adriana, and next year I will be working abroad for the Peace Corps, striving to improve, enrich, and save my law school application.
And I'm Rachel. My plan next year is to settle down in the company of my love.
Rachel, you didn't tell me you were getting married.
No. I'm working at McKinsey.
Well, I wish you a long and happy union.
I'd give it 2 years.
Rule number 4, introduce the topic with historical context.
Our class came into the world in the year of 2020.
No, I was born in 2002.
Let's be real. None of us were truly alive before we were accepted into Yale.
We were such babies when we got here. We raised our hands to ask to use the bathroom during lecture. And what was even crazier is that we asked our professors to wipe for us, too.
Yeah?
Right? Oh.
Okay. Anyways, we refined our motor skills through spike ball in the courtyard until our frocos tucked us in with bedtime stories of the adventures of Sober Buddy.
We entered a COVID-era adolescence. For the less experienced of us, we experienced intimacy for the first time with the nurses who swabbed our noses twice a week.
I've still never felt anything like it since.
As the pandemic cleared, our class was ready to mingle. Many people used the campus dating apps. Rach, one of my Tinder dates offered to onboard me.
You're thinking of LinkedIn.
As we grew into middle age, things weren't always perfect. We had to fight to get Harvard-Yale tickets, seminar seats, and therapists. But even when we were battling imposter syndrome or the YAG, we knew we could rely on each other.
Rule number 5, quote from primary sources. The class of 2024 will be remembered for saying,
"It's just a cough, I tested negative twice."
"Oh, Dean Pericles Lewis, I'm sorry, I didn't see you down there."
I totally listened to Japanese Breakfast. Oh, my favorite song? Is sushi.
Pancakes.
Yeah.
Rule number 6, acknowledge counter-arguments and shortcomings.
I'll be the first to admit it. I have some regrets at Yale. I always wanted to date an athlete, but my Indonesian wasn't good enough.
I regret paying for items at Bow Wow.
But hey, at the end of the day, none of us are perfect.
True 2024s, you're like a homeschooled kid, insisting you never missed out, but still a little socially stunted from the computer.
2023 plus ones, you're like the grad students who still show up at frat parties. Getting a little old, but it's not illegal to dance with you.
But we all must graduate and become tax-paying adults who peaked in college.
Rule number 7 says to end on a happy note.
Chicken tender Thursdays were fun.
And so is knowing all of you.
Class of 2024, we'll remember you fondly, and here's to a crazy afterlife.
Rusty Fufunan and Jocelyn Paz, will you please come up to the stage? The Nakanishi Prize is awarded to 2 graduating seniors who, while maintaining high academic achievement, have provided exemplary leadership in enhancing race or ethnic relations at Yale College. This year's prizes are awarded to Rusty Fufunan and Jocelyn Paz. Rusty Fufunan has embodied the Nakanishi Prize through his activism, grounded in equal parts of listening, critical thinking, and hard, pragmatic work. He has been a community builder through his many roles on campus, among them first-year counselor, co-head counselor for Camp Yale's Cultural Connections program, and choreographer and dancer for DanceWorks. Thanks to him, this community has become more open and welcoming. Rusty has also been a pillar of the Asian American community. He has served as first-year liaison, president of the Filipino student organization, Kasama, student co-head of the Asian American Cultural Center, and co-moderator of the Asian American Students Alliance. He has coordinated an intergroup trip to Washington, D.C. to protest the Supreme Court oral arguments in cases about affirmative action, in the process building a foundation for future coalitions on ethnic relations and advocacy. Resti's two majors, ethnicity, race, and migration, and data science, have enabled him to promote ethnic and racial relations by focusing on the policy intersections between data and social justice. He has also applied that knowledge through internships, analyzing census data to prepare a national survey of Asian American voters. Now that he is graduating, he will continue his studies in China next year as the recipient of a Richard U. Light Fellowship. For his transformational work advancing ethnic and race relations and his unforgettable impact on ethnic relations in our community, Yale College is proud to bestow the Nakanishi Prize upon Resti Fufunen. Jocelyn Paz is a community builder who has forged partnerships, re-examined histories, and created new communities for Yale's campus culture. She has dedicated herself to making Yale a place where multiple and intersecting identities around race, gender, sexuality, and ethnicities can take root, bloom, and flourish. Jocelyn is the founder and president of Central Americans for Empowerment, a radio host with WYBCX Yale Radio, a co-head counselor for Camp Yale's Cultural Connections program, a peer liaison for La Casa Cultural, a Silliman Latina Affinity Group co-founder and event coordinator, a dancer and leader in the dance group Sabrosora and Rhythmic Blue, and a community consent educator, an ethnicity, race, and migration major, and a human rights scholar. Jocelyn has brought the theory and practice of community building to a global context. She has studied at Yonsei University, South Korea, as a recipient of a Richard U. Light Fellowship, and also in Cartagena, Colombia, working with community members and organizations to understand how the country's armed conflict and its subsequent 2016 peace accords have affected Black, Indigenous, brown, urban, rural, and gender marginalized communities. For her many contributions to Yale's campus culture, Yale College is honored to bestow the Nakanishi Prize upon Jocelyn Paz. Jimmy Hatch, will you please come up to the stage? The James Andrew Haas Prize is awarded annually to that member of the senior class in Yale College whose breadth of intellectual achievement, strength of character, and fundamental humanity shall be adjudged by the faculty to have provided leadership for his or her fellow students, inspiring in them a love of learning and concern for others. This year, the Haas Prize is awarded to James Hatch. Jimmy Hatch. Entered Yale at the age of 52 after a long and distinguished career as a Navy SEAL in the United States military. He graduates with a degree in humanities, concluding an undergraduate career that began in directed studies. He was the first Eli Whitney student to enroll in the program, and culminating in a senior thesis exploring the interplay between literature and lived experience, with a particular focus on depiction of combat in classical Greek, Roman, and Italian texts. Jimmy's extracurricular life on campus has been rich and varied, ranging from his partnership with the Jackson School, in creating an after-action class immediately following the US exit from Afghanistan, to his collaboration with the Yale University Art Gallery on a public Plato project, for which he recently hosted a conversation with Dean Tamar Gendler on ancient thinking and the modern human. Jimmy is invested in the life of the mind, in the creation of community, in often winding pursuit of light and truth. For the depth and breadth of his commitments, Yale College is proud to bestow the James Andrew Hoss Memorial Prize upon James Hatch.
Good afternoon, class of 2024. What a surreal experience it is to be here together, gathered in a fashion that was not afforded to many of us who first arrived at Yale during the height of the pandemic. It's a real privilege. Now, as I'm known to do whenever I get the chance, I'm going to talk about myself. For the past 3 semesters, I have been a bearer of good news on Yale's campus. What I mean by this is that every Friday, I have delivered 1,000 print copies of the Yale Daily News. Rain or shine or snow, be it 70 or 7 degrees outside, I have endured the elements to bring the oldest college daily, fresh off the presses, and straight to your dining halls. Every Friday, I wake up at 7:30, and I load my car with the week's issue, all 1,000 copies tied in bundles of 25. Then I proceed along my route, delivering the papers to their designated locations, each of the 14 dining halls, Payne Whitney and HQ and Yale Health, the post office and the med school campus. If you haven't had the privilege of experiencing it for yourself, I cannot quite convey what it's like to see New Haven so early in the morning. The subtle beauty in watching the city awaken from its slumber with a yawn and a stretch, the sun rising slow as the streets fill with streams of traffic. Every Friday, as I move through the city in quiet reverence, I watch the people around me. Dining hall produce deliveries and grumbling maintenance vans, groundskeepers and wall painters and sanitation workers, morning joggers and married couples and parents with their children, and you. The city builds itself around you day in and day out in a million perfect ways, a million ways that you may never notice. One day, as I was hustling along my delivery route, a stranger stopped me to ask if I'm the person who delivers the YDN. I told him yes, and he seemed surprised. I write for the YDN, he said, and I've always wondered how we got all the papers out every week. I guess I never really thought about it too much. I've had this same encounter a few times now. A curious stranger will stop me and ask if I'm the one who delivers the YDN. There is a common theme among all of these interactions. I see the paper in the dining hall every week, but I never thought about how it gets there. And so I came up with a challenge for myself. Every week, as I made my way along the same delivery route, I would try to notice something new about my surroundings. Maybe a carving on the side of Sterling, or a bed of flowers blooming in the TD courtyard. Through this project in observation, my appreciation for the spaces I inhabit grew so much deeper, refined with the knowledge of all the details which confirm, yes, someone has been here before you. In my time delivering the Yale Daily News, I've learned a lot about the way this campus moves, the people and patterns and passing glimpses of beauty that make Yale and New Haven worth cherishing. I've learned how the care and dedication of our dining and facility staff make this foreign place The care and dedication of our dining and facility staff make this foreign place feel a little bit more like home. I've learned how a smile across Elm Street can break the ice with that person from seminar that you've been meaning to talk to. I've also learned that you can sneak past the swipe desk at the Morrison Styles dining hall if you walk confidently and your arms are overflowing with a stack of 100 newspapers. Now, class of 2024, don't shoot the messenger when I say that for all the good news I've delivered, I honestly have no idea what the future holds for us. I cannot promise that the next story to break will be a tale of triumph or a celebration of smooth sailing. I think our class knows better than most that surprises are to be expected in life. We've seen this campus through countless headlines. Class of 2024, plans for remote spring semester. Students take advantage of security flaws in the Bow Wow. Pitbull for spring fling. Yaleys say, Dale. In all seriousness, though, our class has seen a lot. But it is for this reason that I feel confident in our ability to handle every challenge we face, to take hold of each moment and turn it over and over again until we can finally see the glimpse of beauty in it. At this moment, on the cusp of our departure from Yale, you're probably feeling the weight of the past 4 years. Or if, like me, you took the pandemic as an opportunity to squeeze an additional bright college year out of your time at Yale, then the past 5 years. Maybe you know exactly where you're headed next. Or maybe you have no clue. I know that many of you have big aspirations, plans to go out there and shape the world into something great. But today, I encourage you to pause. Sit in the light of those most important things, your peers, your communities, your history, and your time at Yale, and consider all of the ways that your world has been shaping you. Let this knowledge soften you. Let it guide you as you venture into the years ahead. May you continue to look back on this time and find within it a reason to keep moving forward, to keep imagining a better future. Today, I have the honor of delivering one final piece of good news. Class of 2024, we made it, and that is a headline to celebrate.
Eliza Kravitz, will you please come up to the stage? The Warren Memorial High Scholarship Prize is awarded to the senior majoring in the humanities who ranks highest in scholarship. This year, the prize is awarded to Eliza Rose Kravitz. Eliza Kravitz graduates summa cum laude with distinction in her history major. Elected to Phi Beta Kappa in her junior year, she is also a member of the National Collegiate Hispanic Honor Society. Eliza is a recipient of the Yale Review of International Studies Atchison Prize for her essay in international affairs. This year, she also received the Carlos R. Morena Prize, given annually to the best student paper focusing on the field of Latinx studies. Outside the classroom, Eliza has made significant impact in the surrounding communities of Connecticut. As a first-year student, she helped students incarcerated in the Manson Youth Institution pass the GED. She has also volunteered as a tax preparer with organizations that assist underserved families in preparing their taxes, and she has worked as a Spanish interpreter for the New Haven Legal Assistance Association. In recognition of her extraordinary scholarly achievements, Yale College is proud to award the Warren Memorial High Scholarship Prize this year to Eliza Rose Kravitz. Ariana Reichler, will you please come up to the stage? The Arthur Twining Hadley Prize is awarded annually to the senior in Yale College majoring in the social sciences who ranks highest in scholarship. This year, the prize is awarded to Ariana Reichler. She does look wise beyond her years. Ariana Reichler was elected to Phi Beta Kappa in her junior year and graduates summa cum laude with distinction in her major, cognitive science, and a certificate in education studies. Her academic pursuits have been broad and interdisciplinary, with a steady focus on cognitive development. As a member of the Clinical Affective Neuroscience and Development Lab since her sophomore year, Ariana's research has focused on child and adolescent development and its intersection with mental health, specifically examining mechanisms linking childhood adversity exposure with risk for post-traumatic stress disorder. Outside of the classroom, Ariana's extracurricular commitments have often focused on children too, from serving as a community mental health center fellow with Dwight Hall and the Community Mental Health Center Foundation, to volunteering as a swim instructor to local children with special needs or disabilities. Ariana has made a significant impact in the broader New Haven community. For her exceptional scholarship, Yale College proudly awards the Arthur Twining Hadley Prize to Ariana Reichler. Andrew Milas, will you please come up to the stage? The Russell Henry Chittenden Prize is awarded annually for the senior majoring in the natural sciences or in mathematics who ranks highest in scholarship. This year's prize is awarded to Andrew Ian Milas. Elected to Phi Beta Kappa in his junior year, Andrew Milas graduates summa cum laude with distinction in both his majors, computer science and mathematics. He has distinguished himself as one of the most outstanding scholars in his fields of study, showing extraordinary talent in his demanding coursework, much of it at the graduate level, and far exceeding the requirements for the major or the undergraduate degree. Whether studying economics or artificial intelligence, deep learning theory, or statistics and data science, he has done, in the words of one of his instructors, spectacularly. Andrew is the recipient of numerous awards and prizes, among them a first-place win in the Jane Street Electronic Trading Challenge Final Hour. Andrew has also helped other students advance their understanding of computer science as an undergraduate learning assistant. Beyond Yale, Andrew has worked as a software engineering intern for Meta. After graduating, he will continue to consider graduate-level studies while working full-time for the New York-based Jane Street, a quantitative trading firm. For his exceptional scholarship and future promise in his field, Yale College proudly awards the Russell Henry Chittenden Prize to Andrew Milas. Carter Sundown King and Jordi Bertrand Ramirez, will you please come up to the stage? The Lewis Sudler Prizes for excellence in the performing and creative arts are awarded to two outstanding seniors, Carter Sundown King and Jordi Bertrand Ramirez. Carter Sundown King graduates with distinction in his major, theater, dance, and performance studies. Admired by faculty and students alike, he is not only a costume designer who raises the standard of every production he joins, he also has a deep respect for the materials, histories, and bodies with which he works. Moving between rigorous research and intuitive leaps of the imagination, his costumes demand to be seen and understood. An enrolled member of the Oneida Nation, Carter King's design practice centers his Oneida experience, drawing on lessons in creativity, community, integrity, and ingenuity that he learned while being raised on the Oneida Nation Reservation in Wisconsin. If you find yourself anywhere in his vicinity, you cannot help but notice him. He wears his nation and his art form everywhere he goes, teaching us all how to carry elements of what we love with us on our very bodies. For his unwavering dedication to the highest standards of his art form, Yale College is honored to award the Lewis Sudler Prize for Excellence in the Performance and Creative Arts to Carter Sundown King. Jordi Bertrand Ramirez of Trumbull College graduates with a double major in theater, dance, and performance studies and in history of science, medicine, and public health. In his doubled studies, he has investigated popular and political cultures of information, identity, and representation, using not only classrooms and computers, but also stages, voices, and bodies to explore urgent questions. Anyone who has seen Jordi on stage in his over 30 productions at Yale knows that he has it. The it of a theater actor's magnetic force that compels audiences to watch and listen, the it of an actor's grace, charisma, and artistic intelligence, the it that Professor Joseph Roach has called easy to perceive but hard to define, possessed by abnormally interesting people. Jordi is not only such a person, he brings his own interests and ethics alive in his performances. He plays the stage as a virtuoso plays the piano. He channels his talent into projects that matter to him, to his community, and to our changing and challenging world. For his luminous accomplishments in theatrical performance, Yale College is honored to award the Lewis Sudler Prize for Excellence in the Performing and Creative Arts to Jordi Bertrand Ramirez. Xavier Blackwell Lipkin, will you please come to the stage? The Alpheus Henry Snow Prize is awarded to that senior who, through the combination of intellectual achievement, character, and personality, shall be adjudged by the faculty to have done the most for Yale by inspiring in his or her classmates an admiration and love for the best traditions of high scholarship. This year, the Snow Prize is awarded to Xavier Blackwell Lipkin. Xavier Blackwell Lipkin graduates summa cum laude and with distinction in his major, comparative literature. Elected to Phi Beta Kappa in his junior year and serving as its president in his senior year, Xavier has also completed an advanced language certificate in French, and next year he will pursue a master's in comparative literature at Oxford as a Marshall Scholar. Xavier has devoted much of his undergraduate years exploring languages. He's received numerous awards for his work in Spanish, French, and Portuguese, including the Scott Prize for the Best Essay in French, and the Bildner Prize for an outstanding essay in Spanish on any subject in Latin American literature or culture. The English department has also recognized Xavier, twice awarding him the John Hubbard Curtis Prize for love of the English language and facility in writing, as well as the sophomore C. Willis Betts Prize and the Elmer A. Willits Prize for fiction. His love of languages continues with ongoing study of Italian and Amharic. Awards from outside Yale have also been bestowed on Xavier for his fiction and nonfiction prose stories, which have been published in literary journals such as the Threepenny Review, The Drift, Gulf Coast, West Branch, and Brevity, to name just a few. He won the Editor's Prize in Prose from the Copper Nickel. Xavier's deep belief in the value of language and literature ties directly to his enthusiastic service as a mentor to others. On campus, Xavier tutors students in French and Portuguese. In the New Haven community, he uses his talents and expertise to serve as a volunteer translator and interpreter for immigration nonprofits and asylum attorneys. Xavier has contributed to the life of Yale through his writing as well. Since May 2023, he has served as editor-in-chief of the Yale Literary Magazine, having previously occupied the roles of managing editor and literary editor. In addition, he has worked as a staff writer for the Yale Daily News Magazine and as a reporter for the YDN. Somehow, he has also played the viola in the Yale Symphony Orchestra for 2 years. For his remarkable achievements and his promise for the many more to come, Yale College takes great pleasure in bestowing the Alpheus Henry Snow Prize upon Xavier Blackwell-Lipkin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dea.
My name is Alana Armstead.
And my name is Rosie Rothschild.
And we are members of the Class Day Committee. We are here to talk about the class history and memory. Today, we come together to celebrate our Yale community, our accomplishments, and our families. We know that we have arrived here today with the support of our families, friends, professors, deans, and all the Yale community. So, let's give a shout out to everyone who has supported us. In that spirit, we also recall those of us those who we wish were here with us and who we miss. Those who brighten our lives even now with their love, friendship, and support. Throughout our time here at Yale and prior to our years here, many of us have felt loss. Loss of friends, family, and loved ones. We are living examples of those who we have loved and who have loved us. Our daily actions and behaviors are living testaments to those who cannot be here with us today. By sitting here on Old Campus today, we're proof that their memories have shaped who we are and will continue to do so in our futures. In honor of those loved ones, please join me in a moment of silence. As we take a moment to honor those who can't be with us today, we're reminded of the importance of memories. In your Class Day gift bag, you'll find a notebook with art by Alana Liu, class of 2024. The cover depicts 3 friends, arms interlocked, with symbols depicting the changing of seasons. The Class Day Committee chose this gift with the hope that it will be a place where you can capture and preserve the moments that define your journey. Use these journals to write about the experiences that has shaped you, the challenges you've overcome, and the joy of your achievements. Let these pages become a testament to your growth and a treasure trove of your memories.
I had the pleasure of working with Rosie and with so many of you in the making of our class history. I am honored to now have the chance to speak a bit more about my motivations for it. I am here because I believe a few things. First, that archival is a declaration of love. As a history major, this is not surprising for me to say. Photos and videos in this class history are one of the ways we captured how often we have shared love for and built community with one another. Over the last school year, this committee prompted the class of 2024 to help us archive the moments that brought us to this day. You all submitted more than 1,500 files, more photos than we could ever include in this short piece of history. So, thank you. I also believe that love and grief are deeply intertwined. As Dea just mentioned, over the past 4 years, there have been immense moments of loss and many moments of joy that are varied and personal to each of us. Many go unseen. Friends and family, I hope that with this video, you all find it easy to share a collective joy through watching a glimpse of the moments of grads you have yet to meet. Equally, I hope we can share in collective grief the knowledge that there are no graduations in Gaza and Palestine for students and children we will never meet because they are no longer here. I encourage us all to look for the photos and videos of memories that do not belong to us, that cannot be included in this video, and to make it our responsibility to remember the lives that have been loved and lost in this short time, just as we remember our joy. Free, free Palestine.
Hi, my name is Rosie. We hope this video history helps cement our moments of love, laughter, and growth. Yale will always have a permanent place in our hearts and minds as we take on the challenges ahead. Graduation can feel like a huge step into the unknown, but I believe the act of remembering can also help us inform the future. I encourage us all to look back and find the stories in our photos and videos to define what comes next. While our time at Yale College may look like an ending, know that truly, this is the beginning of our futures. Our class history will only grow. We also want to highlight the beautiful work of Katumu Tukshur, class of 2024, who wrote and recorded the song Beauty in the Leaving, especially for our class, and performed it live to open today's ceremony. We're grateful to include a piece of her incredible talent in the class history. Before the video begins, I want to remind the senior members of the Yale Glee Club to make their way to the bandstand as the video plays. Without further ado, graduating seniors, our friends, and our family members, I am honored to present the history of the Yale class of 2024. Let us remember these memories together.
You said catch and release means injure and leave. This place hooked you like an anecdote. And if we all leave now, how will I get to know what you believed in as a kid? Or if you double jointed, I know you have a pressure point at the mouth. Get scared, all the hurt comes flowing out. You left your journal open downstairs. Said, dear King James, I'm scared. I don't wanna speak in past tense about the way that I loved my friends. Believe me, I know it's deceiving, but I swear it's relieving. There's beauty in the leaving. Believe me, it's not catch and releasing. It's learned and perceiving. slipped a penny that I didn't pick up. This is me giving you a heads up. Believe me, I know it's deceiving, but I swear it's relieving. There's beauty in the living. Believe me, it's not catching, releasing. It's learned and perceiving. There's beauty in the living. Knee deep in belief, release me when my youth is a memory and it's airing in a courtyard and wrought on guitar. Knee deep in belief, release me when my youth is a memory. It's a Metro North rail for God, for country and Yale. Believe me, when dawn turns to evening and your body is freezing, you get to believing.
Bright college years with pleasure ripe, the shortest, gladdest years of life. How swiftly are ye gliding by! Oh, why doth time so quickly fly? The seasons come, the seasons go. The earth is green or white with snow, but time and change shall not avail to break the friendships formed at Yale. In after years should troubles rise to cloud the blue of sunny skies, how bright will sing through memory's haze those happy golden bygone days. Oh, let us strive that ever we may let these words our watch cry be. Whereupon, like sea we sail, for God, for country, and for
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chandra Hassan. I'm Samantha Poley.
I'm William On, and
we're your senior class officers.
First, we'd like to thank the Class Day Committee for their hard work and dedication in planning this event over the last few months. It's been an amazing afternoon, one we'll remember for years to come. We'd also like to extend a special thank you to Dr. Vivek Murthy for your time and inspiring words.
To the class of 2024, we congratulate you all on your accomplishments and reaching this monumental day. From braving the masquerade coat check and many many changes to Last Chance Dance, and surviving a solitary lifestyle in our residential colleges, first semester freshman year, it's been, one could say, a wild ride.
Tomorrow will be the official end of our bright college years. This place and the people here have been our homes for the past 4 years. After graduation, we will all go on to create new homes, but a piece of our hearts will always stay in New Haven.
And this concludes the Class Day ceremony for the class of 2024.
See you at commencement!